Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Counterpoint, our weekly debate show where we discuss and do a deep dive into issues concerning various aspects of Goa, mainly aspects that we should all be concerned with and worried about. But of course, as we start this debate or discussion today, there is a note of optimism because the High Court has finally dismissed the Goa government's repeated attempts to postpone the panchayat elections. Now, the High Court, of course, has come down heavily on what it sees as the government's deliberate attempt to literally subvert the constitutional mandate and constitutional provision to conduct panchayat elections on time. Now, at the end of the day, people might think it is just a storm in a teacup, but it is actually not, because this whole process of trying to postpone the election is a larger issue of undermining local self-governance in the way it should be carried out. Because, see, what happens is Article 243(e)(1) of the Constitution very specifically state that every panchayat shall continue to function for 5 years and no longer. The words no longer is very, very clear. Article 243(e)(3) also says that elections to constitute a panchayat shall be completed before the expiry of its duration. These are two very, very important points. And the reason why we are here is not just because a court case has been filed and an order being given. The larger issue here is that the government found it completely okay through a series of what is being termed as an excuses by the court, and this is what the court has felt also, that the elections that had to be constituted at a particular point of time was not done, and efforts were made to postpone it, and then try and assume or try and indicate or try to say that the State Election Commission did not go ahead with it and was not keen to do it. What has now happened is that in all these panchayats you have administrators who are lower division clerks, they are UDCs, they are Aval Karkuns and so on and so forth, who are not fit to carry out the affairs of local self-government even for 1 month, leave alone 3 months. So we'll deliberate into all these issues. The underlying point being that are we undermining our local self-governance, which is so critical to Goa's functioning? And that is the big question that needs to be asked. My guest today, and I'm privileged to have a very good panel, is Advocate Cleophas Coutinho, who's always here to speak on serious issues. Sandeep Azarkar is very, very important here, and we welcome him because Sandeep Azarkar was one of the petitioners and one of the key petitioners who went to court, and it is because of his efforts as a litigant that probably we have a proper court directive which now says that elections will have to be conducted by August 12th, which is 45 days from the original order on 28 June when the court said. And last but not the least, we have Kumar Kalanand Mani of the Peaceful Society of Goa, one of the foremost grassroots practitioners and advocates who knows a thing or two and much more about grassroots democracy. I will start with Cleophas for his quick interpretation of the court order and what it has said and what it means.
Actually, the court has stopped the nonsense that has been going on. This is not the first time that panchayat elections or municipal elections are sought to be postponed on some ground or other. If you look at the present panchayat election postponement by the government, it looks like a scandal. See, all of us thought that the elections were getting postponed because the government had not prepared the OBC reservation in terms of the Supreme Court judgment.
Yes.
The panchayat minister, the chief minister, told us number of times that they want to go ahead with elections as per the directions of the Supreme Court.
Right.
They could not meet the directions of the Supreme Court, and that is why they have to postpone the elections. Some people bought that argument.
Right.
Now, this is also not correct. If OBC reservations are to be made, they are to be made.
Correct.
You can't say that we have not made them. Now, if OBC reservation was not made, why was the government not ready with the OBC reservation? But when it came to the court, they realized that that was not the reason on which they could postpone elections. They said in the month of June, July, August, it's a rainy season and we can't hold elections in rains.
But
I think this is something which the court was not buying, none of us were buying, the entire state was not buying. In fact, when the High Court was told because of rains we cannot hold elections, I think we were all shocked. The entire state was shocked at the stand of the government.
Yes.
But then, if during rains you cannot hold elections,
Right.
why did you not hold the election before the rains?
Yeah, in fact, I'll read out one line from the judgment which is very interesting, where one of the learned justices, honorable justices said, we cannot elevate the monsoons to a level of a natural calamity. This was the observation of the court, that we cannot elevate the monsoons. But Clifford, on a lighter, perhaps a slightly lighter note, perhaps the government really didn't have time. They did not have time to do the OBC reservations. Maybe the government was busy with other issues of governance and they couldn't do it.
See, I do not know what they were busy with. All we can know is yesterday they were all busy with the Sena MLAs who had come to Goa. That is one part. But then look at the whole scenario. As far as our government is concerned, and I would go beyond government and I would say our MLAs are concerned, they all seem to be doing civic work. If you see what are the MLAs doing, they are either some road work,
Right.
they are looking after somebody's electricity, wherever electricity is failing or not, some toilet they are inaugurating,
Correct.
some bunds they are building.
Right.
Now all this work which should otherwise be done by bodies like this, panchayats, municipalities, Zilla panchayats, they seem to be enjoying, the MLAs, whether there is water is reaching a particular point.
right.
See, all these are issues of civic nature. I don't think our government and our MLAs must burden themselves with this type of work. They should be serious with legislative work. They should be serious with work of policy formulation. They should be ready with asking questions, the right questions, ready with supplementaries, maybe private members' bills. But then we will find now the assembly session is coming. Let us see how the assembly functions. But as I look at the next session, according to me, it would be road, electricity, and toilets that would be discussing in the house. I don't think the government, not the government or the MLAs are serious with policy formulation or legislative work. And as far as our government is concerned, they have never taken the local government, local bodies seriously. Like, see, what are the powers of the panchayats today? Do they have any powers except for giving house tax and construction license? What is the work they do?
Yeah.
What are the powers of the Zilla panchayats? What work has been given to them? See, powers have not devolved to them, money has not devolved to them, and they are there occupying positions.
Yes, Sandeep, I'll bring you in here, taking off from what where Cleo left off. See, you've been a sarpanch of Sukur,
Yeah.
and you know how local self-government actually works. Now, why did you decide to go with this petition? Because in the sense that a few like-minded people like you also did so. If it was just a postponement of 3 months, how does the panchayat work suffer when you have administrators?
Yeah, if the panchayat election is not held on time, then there is a lot of problem in panchayat areas. I have 4.5 years the sarpanch of Sukur, and previous there I am the panch member. I know how thing is going on in rural area, village area. There are a lot of problems. The main problem is issue of garbage. Second issue of stray dogs. Once stray dogs died, who will be removed? If there is cattle died on the road, then panch member are doing this work.
Right.
So, if there is administrator or secretary, he cannot go and remove that. So, this small works are there. If trees fall on the road, on the anyone house, then first we will go the panch member, and panch member will do the work. He'll bring the.
So according to you, of course, you went ahead and,
Yeah.
and filed this petition, which was very good in public interest. So according to you, what was the intention to postpone it? The real intention to postpone it. The ostensible reasons are here, but according to you, what was the real reason to postpone?
I don't know how the government not required for panchayat election on time, because there is something in government is going on. I don't know. Plus, if government is aggressive, okay, if the panchayat election on time, then there is ample time of getting the government to do the election. But they are not done. I don't know why are not they are not doing the election of panchayat.
Karan Manji, I'll come to you. Before getting into this particular petition and what the government has done, I'd like you to elaborate a little bit on what Advocate Cleophas also said. The issue is that this whole is not just about undermining the democracy or the constitution, but it's a pattern of undermining local self-government or local self-governance as a whole. Whether it be that MLAs have taken over the roles of councillors and panchas and sarpanchas, or the fact that the real issues of panchayats and panchayats can also kind of deliberate, take major decisions of the village, look at the development of the village holistically, and so on and so forth. They have a larger role also. How has all this been undermined over the years, according to you? Because since you work in the grassroots.
Thank you. I will just refer first the statement made by Chief Justice of India in a conference of the judges of High Courts and Supreme Courts and Chief Minister, which held just 2 months before in Delhi, where Honorable Prime Minister was also there. And his one statement is a very striking one, and it seems the government has not drawn any lesson from that statement. He said that the government has become the biggest litigant in India. And he further said that it is very visible that government is not acting as per the land of the law. If government will not honor the law, if government will not respect the constitution of this country, then where the democracy exists, whether in Goa or other parts of the state. The Panchayati Raj Act 1994 is almost say like 18 years old. And
More than that.
1994?
Yeah.
26 years.
26 years.
Yes.
And government has 7 layers of system to govern the panchayat or manage the panchayat, from the panchayat level up to the minister level. And therefore, for me, the serious question is that how government dare to violate the constitutional provisions.
Right.
And why not the accountability is fixed if anyone is ignoring or violating the constitutional provisions. Even in this judgment, where the government is directed to hold the election, but the accountability is not fixed for violating the constitutional provisions.
A very important point, yes.
And unless and until the concerned officers or ministers are punished for ignoring, undermining, violating the constitutional provisions,
Yes.
the game between the power brokers will continue. If a common people can be punished by the court of law,
Right.
then why not the ministers or chief minister or concerned election commission should be punished for not conducting election as per the constitutional provisions, which is very clear.
You use the phrase power brokers.
Yeah.
I will be interested to know how does that phrase fit into this context of postponing elections. Where do you think the power brokers come in?
You see, as Advocate Cleophas said very rightly, that this is not first time; it's fourth time.
That's right.
And you said that the panchayats in Goa, is dominated by the MLAs.
Right.
And this is undermining the whole philosophy of local self-governance. The MLAs are looking panchayats only for the sake of their vote banks, nothing beyond.
Very important. Yes, yes.
And this is very sad, you know. In Goa, we have a claim that the state is a very educated one,
Yes.
very advanced one. But we have reason to say that the panchayats are still not up to the mark, primarily because of the undue intervention by the MLAs, by the ministers, and also not having qualitative leadership from the panchayat itself.
Right.
You know, going to the High Court is one thing, but you know, 186 panchayat should have gathered in Panjim with all the panchayats and with all the voters,
Right.
which is about say 12-13 lakhs,
Yes.
for the protection of their own panchayats,
Right.
which is not visible at all. And therefore, panchayat today is one side is a primary school of the political learning,
Right.
where those have ambition to rise in the political ladder.
Yes.
They are using panchayats. At the same time, those who are already in the political ladder are using panchayat just to secure their vote banks. But the overall philosophy, what Gandhi said, that greater power to the panchayat is better for the people, is still missing. Or what was the slogan at the time of 73rd Amendment? The slogan was the power to the powerless. And still powerless are waiting for their empowerment, which is not happening at all. So I see Goa as a model state of the panchayats,
Right.
not a state of the MLAs or the assembly.
Correct.
Because we have 186 or 189 panchayats, and therefore Goa could be or should be a inspiring state in this country, where one can say that how look the grassroots democracy exists, which also strengthening the state political system.
Important. Very important point. Yes. We'll come back. Cleophas, I'll just take this to another very interesting point. You see, the government initially, when they started off in this attempt to postpone the elections, the narrative was a little different. The narrative was OBC reservations. When it came to this whole petition and the response to Sandeep's petition, the reasons for postponement changed completely. In fact, the court has actually observed this, and they've actually said in para 25th of the later order, where they dismissed the application of the government to still postpone it further. The correspondence and interactions, I quote, the correspondence and interactions between SEC and the state government are discussed in the main judgment of 20th June 2022. At that stage, there was, please hear this again, at that stage, there was not even a whisper about the reasons now offered in the application. And I will, before you respond, I'll just like to point out 4 very interesting dates, and these dates will actually reveal what I'm trying to say. On May 16th, the government said that the poll dates will be decided after discussions with the learned AG, after getting his views on the Supreme Court judgment on holding elections and connecting it to the OBC reservations. That was on May 16th. May 18th, the government says that the OBC Commission will have to prepare and needs time to prepare and ensure that the reservations happen. They need to do the basic exercise and mark out the extent of the reservations and where reservations have to happen. On the 19th of May, the Chief Minister, Honorable Chief Minister, says that the Election Commission will be asked for time for the OBC Commission to prepare a report. This is May 19th. All happening in 1 week's time. May 22nd, very important in the context of what the government said about the SEC, State Election Commission. The Goa State Election Commission recommended to the state to hold the elections without the OBC reservations. This is on May 22nd. On May 24th, the government recommends that the polls be postponed, overruling or not accepting the SEC's reservations. This is a sequence of events. Interestingly, in response to Sandeep's petition, the government said that the SEC was delaying in giving dates. The hard reality maybe something else. Can you just elaborate on that?
No. See, actually what happens is, according to me, SEC and the government, SEC is otherwise theoretically a very independent body.
Yeah. Just for our viewers, SEC is the State
Election Commission.
which would conduct the panchayat election.
Is supposed to be independent.
Yes.
Now, how much independent it is, we can see from the correspondence between the government and the SEC. At least in this time, the SEC is very clear that they have given some dates to the government.
Yes.
So, I would not blame the SEC at all, because
Correct.
SEC is on affidavit to say
Right.
that we
are ready and willing to
conduct
yes.
election.
Correct.
The SEC may have dragged its feet as recorded by the High Court on
Right.
some occasions,
Right.
like asking the government to take clarification from the court. But the fact of the matter is, SEC said we are prepared to conduct elections. They have filed an affidavit to that effect. While the government, which told us all along about OBC reservation, suddenly took a turn and went on the reins. So I would look at it this way, that the government somehow,
Yes.
on some pretext or other, wanted to postpone elections.
Right.
Now, why they wanted to postpone, this was a question you had put to Sandeep.
Yes.
I also can't answer this question. Probably they have something to do with the help of administrators, without people coming to know, and that is why postponement. Otherwise, I don't see any reason why election should be postponed.
Sandeep, see, the opposition parties have come out and they have repeatedly said that, look, the government wanted to literally take over the panchayat functioning for 3 to 4 months, because there were so many licenses to be issued. This is what the opposition is saying. So many licenses to be issued, so many projects to be passed, so many clearances to be done, so many NOCs to be given, which may not have been completely possible with a new regime coming in place. The issue here is that we must, at one point of time, we are all bhakts of local self-government, very rightly. Any right-thinking person should be a devotee of local self-government. Okay? But at the same time, will you also concede that the panchayats also have a lot to answer for, and the panchayats have also been party to the whole corruption of the Goan electoral and public landscape? Because everybody says that the panchayat system in Goa is the most corrupt. The panchayats make more money. If you see the lifestyles of different panchayats and sarpanchas over the years, you can actually see that happening visibly. You have sarpanchas and panchayats moving around in absolute luxury cars costing 40 to 50 lakhs.
And they have a business also, no?
No,
How can we-
no. All of them cannot have business.
Yeah. Some people.
See, my issue is that the point is one has mapped this and one knows whether it is old money or whether it is new money. It is very clear.
Yeah.
My point is, in Goa, nothing is hidden. Okay, and also my point is, one also has to see what kind of a business, the level of which wealth elevation has happened. It has happened at a scale which is incomprehensible, and one can see it. Everywhere, anybody who does a particular project, whether it's a building project, whether it's a real estate project or a simple projects, people very clearly say that there are rates fixed. Panchas have certain rates, sarpanchas have certain rates, and unless you pay them, it doesn't happen. So the point is, the panchayat institution has also earned a very bad name and is one of the most corrupt organizations or institutions in Goa. Very sad to say. Won't you agree that the political system obviously is party to this and is a beneficiary of this corruption?
No, I don't know. But I saw this, that administrator is appointed. He don't know anything about the panchayat.
Sandeep, I'll come to that. We'll discuss about the administrators later. That is a very important issue.
Yeah.
I would just humbly request you to reflect on what I just said about absolute corruption in the panchayat.
No, there is no absolute corruption in the panchayat. If there is some corruption is going on, but I don't say that absolutely every sarpanch, every panch are corrupt panch. No. Some are there. I know. Some are there.
It's a question of percentages. Yeah. I'm not saying 100% is corrupt, but even if 30% are corrupt, that's serious enough.
Yeah, that's serious.
No, but the problem is, see, when every department is corrupt, every department is corrupt. You start with, say, licensing from the town and country planning department, and look at the panchayats. They are almost robbed of all power.
Right.
The only power which they exercise is the right to grant a license.
Right.
Now, even that license is subject to the town and country planning department. And I am not condoning what they are doing.
Right.
I am saying the whole system is corrupt, and they are part of that corrupt system.
Panchayat is ruled by MLAs and
Everybody, I mean, they are
That's exactly
part.
what I'm saying.
They are
Yeah.
part of that corrupt system.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You cannot give any license without consent of MLA or minister there.
I have seen panchayats in Goa since 1980s. I can say that till 1990, the panchayats were fairly, center of honest functions. Since the schemes started flowing from top to the panchayat,
Welfare schemes, you mean?
welfare schemes, in which the MLA or minister have a lot of say to get the scheme to their panchayats. The corruption is
Rampant.
Is rampant. In the implementation of the schemes and also in the delivering of the governance or welfare to the people. So post 1990 or post 1994, there are hardly good panchayats.
So you're saying no government or party can be given a clean sheet on this?
Yeah, and I remember, my leader Jayaprakash Narayan made one statement in 1974-75, saying that Delhi Bhrashtachar ki Gangotri hai. So the masses follow the class. So they see what is happening in the Delhi or in Panjim or in the whole rank and file. So panchayat is now no more exception to it.
No, but yes, I want to add to this.
Yes.
He said that this problem started in 1990. He's right. 1990, the real estate boom also starts.
Right.
According to me, this entire Panchayat Raj system is, and Sandeep is right, that in certain panchayats there would not be this issue of corruption.
Right.
But in places, I would say particularly in Bardis and some areas of, say, Salsette, some other areas, this real estate boom has created a havoc with our land. One. Number two, the amount of corruption is directly proportional to the development, and when I mean development, I mean the construction in those
so-called development.
So-called development in those areas.
Yes.
It is directly related. To that. And finally, look at our MLAs today. If you look at the list of MLAs, how many of them are real estate dealers? Just make a list of them. And if so many MLAs are real estate dealers, why should sarpanchas and panchas not be in that line? So they are also trying to be in that line.
Here, I'll take this opportunity to move away from the legalese, as it were. Of course, court decisions have happened, petitions have been filed, and we've discussed that. But I think let us bring a larger narrative into the picture now on local self-governance, which is beyond just the body of the panchayats. Let us also look at village life and a village system of governance, which basically is a very good platform for every single person living in Goa's villages to have a continuous voice to deliberate, to discuss, to protest, to opinionate, and so on and so forth. And that platform is the Gram Sabha. And I can be corrected if I am wrong, but one can safely assume that Goa is probably one of the, if not the most active state where local village governance and the voice of the Gram Sabha is not only heard, deliberated, reported in a manner as serious as it is in Goa. One has seen Gram Sabhas functioning in different parts of the country, and I'm sure there will be good examples. But Goa is because of the size of the state and the nature of the people and the fact that we live in village clusters, irrespective of the rampant corruption that is happening, the Gram Sabhas have become very, very important. I would even go as far as to say they are all mini people's parliaments. And when you stop this process, or when you do not have the panchayat elections on time and you postpone them, what happens here is that even the Gram Sabhas cannot be held and they cannot deliberate, because the Gram Sabha functioning is very, 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 very important, and in the absence of a panchayat, Gram Sabhas cannot be conducted for these 2 to 3 months. And the Gram Sabhas historically have played a very big role. So I will just, I'll start with Kalan Mani this time and ask all the three, Sandeep next and Cleo after that, or a little bit on what I've just said, a few thoughts that you would like to share.
You see, Goa is a smaller state of this country, packed with a lot of social, cultural, economic diversity, very unique state in that matter. And therefore, Goa is a state of the panchayats. Goa is not the state of the big cities or medium-sized cities. If we talk about the Goan culture or Goanness, I think that lies in the villages, not in the city. People might be working in 10, 12 cities.
Correct.
But I think 99% people prefer to go back to their village, and they're enjoying their evening and night life in the villages.
Yes.
They enjoy their holidays as well.
Correct.
Not having the panchayat election, not having the Gram Sabha, it means you are denying the democratic space of almost say 80% of Goan voter, and this is something is very annoying fact. The state should draw the strength from the panchayat instead of panchayat draw the strength from the state. Unless the state understand and respect the values and the possibility of the panchayats, they will keep on playing with the panchayat, and they treat as the state is the bhatkar and the panchayats are mundkar, and panchayat has to survive on the wishes of the bhatkar, which is the state government. That is why every time when panchayat election comes, the state government dare to avoid the panchayat election. This kind of thing should not happen. If Goa has to be a very strong, very
right.
participatory state, then state must respect the panchayat, and those who are involved in the affair of the panchayat must understand the whole philosophy of local self-governance, where the people are getting democratic culture through panchayats. And to me, the panchayat has a bigger role in Goa.
Right. Sandeep, tell me, what is the effect on village governance or in the villages if you do not have Gram Sabhas? How does the absence of the Gram Sabha affect village functioning?
The Gram Sabha have main role of villagers. If Gram Sabha is not happening, then the Sarpanch, their Panch member are doing illegalities or anything projects are approved, they can give. But if the Gram Sabha is there, the Sarpanch and Panch member are afraid to take the Gram Sabha. Why? The people are coming and people are opposing there. If the people are opposed and once the resolution passed by Gram Sabha, that resolution should be forwarded to the government, and automatically the projects are closed. So Gram Sabha is must. And if there is no Gram Sabha, then I don't know what happened to Goa.
It is very important. In fact, as you yourself said, you kind of almost confirmed the earlier premise that I had. What you are saying very importantly is that Gram Sabhas act as checks and balances to the functioning of the panchayats itself, and very often the voice of the Gram Sabha makes the panchayat check itself, in case they're doing any corrupt activity, and that's extremely important. Cleophas, just a few thoughts on this issue.
According to me, whether right or wrong, whether they have powers or not, the Gram Sabhas have played a role in protecting what we call our village demography. Like a village Gram Sabha may not have much control on regional plan 2021, but still they would take a stand on regional plan 2021. Every Gram Sabha would take a stand on it. We will find that on the 3 linear projects, the double tracking, the coal issue, even in panchayats where the issue is not there, they would raise this issue. So I would say, particularly in the coastal belt, the Gram Sabhas have played a very aggressive role. And if what is left of Goa, it is because of the role played by them. Now, many Gram Sabhas are functioning in a manner that may not be correct in terms of law, but still their functioning has helped save what is left. Like I will tell you, you go to Mopa airport area,
Right.
the investment promotion board is clearing so many projects. It may not be in the purview of the Gram Sabha. It may not be within the 4 corners of the panchayat
Also,
because
yes.
IBP industry in Verna is beyond their powers.
Right.
But still the people from Verna, the people from Mopa would still make a noise
Yes.
over what is happening.
Correct.
Now in this current scenario, without panchayats, without Gram Sabhas, certain things could work out very easily for the government. And I do not know if that is the main reason why the government did not want elections for 3 or 4 months. Possibly that is some hidden agenda. We do not know. Because the reasons they gave us, like OBC reservations, rains, and assembly session,
Ganesh Chaturthi.
seemed Ganesh Chaturthi.
Yes, yes.
These reasons I don't think are laughable. And rightly the High Court rejected them.
I remember also, I'll just bring in the issue of garbage also, because I think Gram Sabhas and Panchayats have played a big role to ensure that our villages don't become a mess, because wherever there has been an effort to have a huge garbage treatment plant in one village and get the garbage.
Now, see,
of
yeah,
other
correct.
villages.
See, in Verna,
Yes, I'm talking about
they
this.
want to have a garbage
Treatment plant.
treatment plant
In the
in the industrial estate. Now, industrial estate does not come under the panchayat.
Correct.
But still the panchayat
Yeah,
is
it doesn't
making
come
noise.
under the Lothuli Panchayat
Yes,
at all.
yes, but they want to make a noise about it.
Yes, the Nagawa and the Lothuli
Correct.
Panchayats have both got
Yes.
into it. Yes. So
See, the panchayat's power is reduced by the previous government as well. And I am amazed why panchayats were not raising the voice against curtailing down their power. For example, see, the panchayat, village panchayat is the sole authority of the boundary of panchayats. So every function within the panchayat must be under the functioning of the panchayat, and no way government should undermine the functioning of panchayats. And therefore, the existence of Gram Sabha is very important to take care of the welfare and also the existence of their panchayats. This should happen from both the sides. Panchayats should also be alert and fight for their autonomy. At the same time, government, if it is committed for the Goan cause and Goan welfare, then take Gram Sabha and Panchayat all the time into confidence. The kind of project is coming to Goa in last 20-25 years, in which the Goa as a state, as a community is sinking.
right.
You know, which time to time, as Advocate Cliffeto and ex-Sarpanch has rightly said, if voice has emerged, it has emerged from panchayats. Take first example, Nylon 66. It was the Gram Sabha who opposed the Nylon 66. Much before that in Khotigaon, where the wildlife sanctuary was coming and government wanted to displace the people in Khotigaon, it was the Gram Sabha who opposed the displacement. So because Gram Sabha, the people of the village know the reality of local resources and their life, and they are more concerned to conserve their life and their resources than any authority from outside. And that is the relevance of the village panchayats. So if any agency wants to do anything within the geography of village panchayat, Gram Sabha and the panchayat must be taken into confidence.
Clifford, you will remember that during the days of the regional plan agitation,
Yes.
in 2008, we all remember that very fondly, where Panchayat after panchayat, panchayat after panchayat,
Correct, but passing
Gram Sabha
resol-
after Gram Sabha passed
resolutions
against it, and unanimous and very fiercely worded
Correct.
resolutions. And I think those resolutions also acted as a trigger for that massive rally that happened in Panjim, in the Azad Maidan rally, which actually changed the course of Goa's public movement also.
Yes.
You know, it was, in fact, it became so popular and powerful that people actually wanted the Goa Bachao Abhiyan to take a political role and win elections and rule the state. It went to that extent.
That may be one of the reasons why this government is not very keen to have a strong panchayats in Goa, because the hidden agenda or agenda of the corporates or agenda of industrialists are getting blocked by the panchayats. They are not against of development, but they are first supporting protection of the panchayat area.
No, but this type of laws, like, see, we threw out SEZ because
Exactly.
SEZ was creating an island within your state.
That's right.
Now, if you look at the Investment Promotion Board, it is almost doing the same thing.
Right.
Right.
It is almost doing the same thing.
Correct. Actually, good you mentioned the SEZ, because I remember the full-fledged agitation conducted by the village groups of Goa.
Correct.
That whole umbrella organization.
They threw out SEZ from Goa.
Absolutely.
And the
correct.
government was forced to accept that there will not be SEZ in Goa.
Correct.
And keep in mind, at that time, we had a Congress government.
Yes.
And SEZ was a pet project of who is that? From Madhya Pradesh.
Right. Kamalnath.
Kamalnath.
Yes.
Kamalnath pet project was SEZ.
Yes.
And the Congress government here had to reject it.
That's correct.
That
Absolutely.
was because of the pressure various groups had put on the government.
Yes, I remember that was a massive agitation. But ultimately, the court also said that these SEZ allotments are done in a manner not known to law. And that became...
No, but that was later on. But before that, the SEZ was scrapped.
Absolutely correct. But yeah, Digambar Kamath, in fact, as Chief Minister, was forced to do it,
Yes.
because the public pressure was far
So
too
much that-
and that is, that is extremely
And that
important.
But
pressure
one
emerged-
important thing also
that
is...
pressure emerged from Gram Sabha.
No,
Exactly.
One important thing that we have to keep in mind
Yes.
is, see, RP21 was scrapped, SEZ was scrapped because the government at that time somehow bowed to public pressure. See, today we are coming to a situation where the government does not listen to anything.
Sandeep, do you also feel the same?
Even
Yes,
IT park in Sukur,
Right.
around 2000 or 2002, I don't know.
Yes.
Once there the Minister of Narvekar.
Yes.
That time IT park is coming. The Sukur Gram Sabha opposed there, and they are shifted to I say the Talegaon.
Talegaon.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes, I know. See, the same thing has happened with even the IIT, the Gram Sabha, wherever the IIT comes up. I'm not in support of
correct.
a lot of those
Correct.
decisions, because at the end of the day,
No,
and
the
IIT is
Sukur,
needed
the
in
Sukur
Goa.
is IT is coming in the plateau.
Correct,
In Salwar Dumon, then Sukur.
Yes.
Which plateau is upper area. Once they are come, then trees are gone, and everything they are coming, they come to down.
Correct.
Downs are people are living.
Correct.
So people are objected.
But tell me, do you also agree with Cleophas that these days, earlier on, the government used to bow down to the wishes of the people? What do you feel is the situation?
Yeah, I don't believe. I am the Punch member of 2007.
Right.
That time is a different types of government, and this time is a different types of.
What is the difference?
It's a difference. That time, if the peoples are the Gram Sabhas against the government, then government are listening.
Okay, that is not happening now.
That's
you feel.
not happening.
Okay, but the issue is that why is it not happening? Interestingly, because what happens is, if you say that the panchayats are controlled by MLAs.
Panchayats are controlled by MLAs. People are afraid of the MLAs.
Right.
Why? They want their job work.
Today we are dependent
Yeah.
too much on the MLA for jobs, your schemes, passing of plans,
Right.
for every next step, you are dependent on the MLA.
Also deciding who will be the Sarpanch.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything is now dependent
decided
on
by
the
the
MLA.
MLA.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that then what happens is you are afraid that you will not get that 1,500 rupees which you get.
Correct.
Somebody feels that the 2,000 rupees dole which I get will be cut off. You know, all these
Petty issues.
petty issues.
Not petty,
people,
but
people,
minor,
people
small,
depend on
small
people
issues.
depend on the MLA.
Right.
Now you tell me, for these type of schemes,
Right.
why do you require MLA signature? If a scheme is passed,
Correct.
it should be administered through the officers. Why should it go to the MLA?
Panchayat secretary can do
हाँ,
it.
Panchayat secretary can do.
Right. You don't need
You don't need them.
Correct.
Hey, you want to write to the secretary, Panchayat secretary. It's a good.
Coming back to the one of the core issues with regard to this issue of postponement of elections. Now we come to OBC reservations. I just wanted to clear you to respond and others as well. This OBC reservation, is it an absolute mandate under the Panchayati Raj Act that you have to reserve wards for OBCs, or was it only for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes?
See, as far as the constitution is concerned,
Yeah.
there is provision for SC and ST.
Okay.
Now this OBC reservation is mandated under the judgment of the Supreme Court.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is,
In the Madhya Pradesh matter.
Madhya Pradesh matter.
Yes.
Nowhere I could find that unless you have OBC reservation, you shall not hold elections. Such a mandate is not there anywhere. And in any case, if OBC reservation is required, may be required, why did you not prepare for it?
Right.
See, you had the government, it is the same government which is in power today.
Correct.
Same government was in power earlier. Why did you not prepare the OBC list? In fact, according to me, they wanted to postpone the elections on the OBC issue and take cushion from the OBCs that we are trying to postpone the elections by creating a reservation for you.
There are instances where interested groups go to the court and somehow they get a kind of order which blocking the functioning of the constitutional system.
Right.
The constitution is very clear
Right.
that there is reservation only for two categories. One is SC and ST and
Right.
another is women.
Women.
Right.
You know,
Right.
there is no mention in the act about OBC
Under the Panchayat Act.
under Panchayat Act.
Yeah.
So how even a High Court will give a judgment which is not the part of the act?
Anyway,
But let us not take that OBC reservation very seriously, because the government itself did not make that issue before the High Court.
which the High Court observed.
Yes, they did not make that issue.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Sandeep, tell me what now? The issue is now they have to now conduct it within 45 days.
45 days.
Which is 45 days means August 12th.
Yeah, August 12th,
Okay.
the last day.
Now, in the event of they wanting to conduct it in August 12th, the process must begin right now.
It's 30 days of process.
30 days of process.
Yeah, it's 30 days of process.
Now, this is a court mandated thing.
Yeah.
Now, you as the petitioner, will you be closely watching this process? And if you notice that it is not at all possible, or the government is not interested in conducting before August 12, will you take recourse to a legal remedy again?
Yeah, I will.
But will you wait till August 12, or will you step in before that?
Court right now says that within 3 days you
Right.
issue the notification.
Right.
Yeah. So they are not issuing the notification, then we will go to the court. Yeah.
Okay. Also, do you think that there is a movement in Goa where there are more and more people can come in? Are you one of the very few litigants, or what is the feedback that you're getting? Are there more and more people across panchayats? Because I'm asking this because I'll lead to another very concluding part of our debate after this on whether the grassroots is reacting in the manner that they should. What I'm saying is that do you feel there are many people across Goa who feel like you and will go to any extent to see that the elections happen?
Yeah. A lot of owners coming,
Right.
and I have also in many groups they are putting, yes, we are with you,
Right.
we want election, and we have a group of Panch member of Bhardesh, so they are also saying yes, we want election. So because we are the Panch members, we are working as a slaves, and we know how we want the villagers. So
Okay.
I would like to add to this.
Yes,
See,
yes.
In Goa, we are good. We are happy that our High Court has risen to that occasion
Right.
and helped solve a scandal created by the government. Not always courts rescue citizens in such issues.
And I would further add.
So I would say in such matters,
Yes.
Kalanan was right in saying that after the elections were postponed, there was no movement from the people,
I'm
from the
coming to that.
panchayats,
Yes,
from
I'm coming to that.
the
Yes.
people. See, according to me,
Correct.
there is a failure there, that somehow we are taking everything lying down because our MLAs are okay with this system.
That is very true. I was actually coming to that. See, as you also said, that there are 186 panchayats. I would say that in this 186 panchayats, about 7 to 8 lakh people live, if not more. Okay. Now the issue is that this postponement of elections is actually affecting the progress, the development, and the rights of 7 to 8 lakh Goans. How long will we always have to knock on the doors of court by spirited individuals like Sandeep and others?
And Goa Foundation when it comes to environment.
And Goa Foundation when it comes to environment and other organizations. What I'm essentially saying is that why should the court always have to play the role of a principal and wrap people and the system on the knuckles? Why do we need to knock on the doors of the court again and again and again? That is where the issue is. Point number one. Point number two, why doesn't Goa see this kind of a proper people's backlash or people's pushback when it comes to panchayat elections? And that is something that I would like you to quickly respond as why do you feel it's a lament, but let us also try and understand why this is happening, on why people are not coming out on the streets like it did to fight for a proper regional plan and so many other issues. Nylon 66, you could meta strips agitation, so many agitations. I'm essentially trying to ask is why is there no kind of a pushback from the people when their rights are taken away?
I see duality from the part of civil society organizations in Goa. When civil society organizations in Goa needs panchayat's help or Gram Sabha helps in resolving their issues or
Right.
supporting their issues, that time they go to Gram Sabha or they mobilize the Gram Sabha, they mobilize support of the Gram Panchayat. But when it comes to the existence or strengthening the Gram Panchayat, Gram Sabha, in this kind of affair, civil society organizations in Goa are least interested. So you want their support, but you are not supporting them. See, the people in panchayats does not have that kind of spark from within to strike for their authority as a local self-governance.
No, but we saw that during the regional plan.
Yeah,
People were very agitated and came out.
Even in that, the civil society organizations were working, directly and indirectly with the panchayats.
That's true. The Goa Bachao
But when it comes to the panchayat's own interest, at that time I don't find much examples where the civil society organizations has stand or supported the village panchayats.
Cleo, a quick response.
See, somehow I find that we live in times when the government is not listening to the civil society. The government is bulldozing every civil society movement. Government does not care for the people, because finally the government, the MLAs know how to get elected. They know that these people we can manage. So finally I think we are back to, we get what we deserve.
Right.
I would say we are back to that, and they know how to get power from us.
I would have loved to end on this note, but I just realized that there's one interesting point I forgot to discuss in this debate, which is the role of the administrators, and whether these administrators have any role or not, and the kind of people who've been appointed as administrators makes one wonder whether they have been appointed to conduct serious business or not. Sandeep, can you tell me what is the profile of people who've been made administrators, and then a quick response.
Government appointed the administrator. Before that, the sarpanch is there and full body is there.
No, the administrators who've been appointed now, what kind of people are they? As in-
They are not they fit for the sarpanch post or the government
Administrator's post.
administrator post.
Right.
They are local means
local clerks. I mean,
clerk,
there's
there is
nothing
a-
against clerks. One means no disrespect to them.
No, they are-
but we are essentially saying that
Yeah.
they may not be equipped or
Equitable.
qualified.
They are,
as
administrators should be
MDCs,
appointed by the
NDCs.
BDO,
Right.
should be BDOs,
Right.
or that types of administrators should be appointed.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
administrators,
basically, administrator should be somebody who has some knowledge of
exactly.
of local.
So BDO have
self-government
knowledge of the panchayat.
Yes.
So BDO is a post is a good for
Correct.
administrator.
Yeah, clear.
I think one thing is good.
Yes.
Let us not discuss this issue because the court says they shall not take any policy decisions.
Right.
So if the court says they shall not take policy decisions, good.
But that was not the idea.
That was not the idea. They wanted policy decisions to be taken.
Yes, yes. Correct.
But at least the
Yes.
court has put an end to this.
Yeah.
Why not same sarpanch or same panchayat body?
They could have continued.
Yeah,
If you cannot hold election, continue them
Yes.
for another
Yeah.
6 months.
Extension for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
No, not extension for 6 months, but extension
election.
Till the election.
Elections.
Yeah, because they know the affairs.
Yes.
We could go on and on and on, and there's so much to discuss, but obviously we've run out of time. But what is important to note here is that normally at the end of every debate we reach some kind of a conclusion as to why that particular reason is happening, why that particular decision has been taken, and we are a little wiser than what we were when the debate began. In this particular instance, we are none the wiser as to why this decision was attempted to be taken by the
correct.
government. We do not know, where the benefits would lie. Why would they do it? Because even the ostensible reason of reservations for OBCs doesn't seem to be the case now. So we left wondering as to who gained and what was the reason to do this, and it creates so much of confusion. And for this, I think the government owes the people of Goa an explanation. Unfortunately, repeated attempts to get the BJP representative or the government representative here, or the ruling party representative, failed, and they were preoccupied with a lot of other important issues.
Yeah, these days they are very busy with Shiv Sena. They are all here.
That's true. They are all they're very much here, and the government of the day has provided security and so on and so forth. Yeah, but anyway, so that is the fact of the case. Be as it were, I think a couple and more very important aspects have been addressed, and if we go beyond the court cases and the legality, we feel that the spirit of local self-governance, which is so strong in Goa, needs to be preserved. The voice of the Gram Sabha cannot be quashed, but the irony is that there is not enough pushback from the people when these voices are getting quashed. So there is something wrong with society itself and people itself. So these are various strands to unpack and take home. But as long as we seriously think about it, we'll understand that without local self-governance, Goa cannot be governed. And on this note, I thank all my panelists for their very insightful comments, and we'll come back with more such issues, including this, when the time comes. Thank you.